Taylor Swift, diet, body image, diet culture. Taylor is in the news again for something that I haven't heard too much of her being in the news about. I have heard a little bit, so break it down. What's going on here?
So this was an article, Fox News Mental Health. Ooh. Pop stars' music and experience with disordered eating have a profound impact, researchers say. So they're saying that, you know, she's got this platform and she just has impact. And they said she's done other things that,
whatever she
from
talks,
voting to wearing a wristband.
Whatever Taylor Swift decides to talk about and bring attention to is going to have some ripple effects.
Yeah.
On culture, on the youngins in specific.
And that's the thing. She has an impact. And I would, when we come back to the beginning of this, because I'm going to run through a few highlights that will come out of the beginning, because I think we all have an impact, but she has a platform. Pop stars helped her fans achieve a more positive outlook overall on diet culture. Diet culture, everybody's looked down on that, you know. So she's helping disordered eating, body image, according to a new study from University of Vermont. So she helps with that. Study also examined conflicting reactions from her fans on social media.
So it was a study where they polled people that have, from me looking at the article, they took people's posts on social media. They gathered the data to see what type of effects Taylor Swift is having on their body image, diet culture, so forth.
Yeah, they went to TikTok and all this. And, to find all that.
I remember real quick, Taylor, she... hate it or love it, I feel like I followed her public image somewhat close, maybe closer than I'd like to admit.
Well, she's changed some over the years, too.
And that's what I'm addressing.
They can start out where it looks like, you know, even the homeschool kids can watch them.
And that's how it was for
Hannah
us.
Montana, and then you become Wrecking Ball or something, you know, and you come flying in like, this ain't, kids, run!
This isn't what we signed up for.
Run! Because I remember,
this isn't little
when y'all were little.
Pray before supper, Hannah Montana.
Yeah, so anyway.
So what I was going to say was Taylor Swift, I remember her going through when she transitioned from the real country to more of the pop scene, she got very thin. And I know we're going to get into a little bit of the influence she's had in her journey. She got very thin, was hanging out with a lot of models. She looked like a supermodel. And then the Miss Americana documentary on Netflix came out.
Well, they mentioned the Miss Americana.
I remember watching that with Morgan and thinking, okay, she's clearly thicker than she was, and she addresses some of it. So it's going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go. What do you got?
Research published in Journal of Science and Medicine surveyed hundreds of social media posts on TikTok, Reddit, from Swift fans. So just like you said.
Yep.
The study also examined conflicting reaction from fans on social media to a scene in her anti-hero video that depicted the word fat on a scale. Okay, so they're like, she hadn't been all good, but we'll touch on that.
I know the song.
Yeah.
Very, very popular song. I don't know that. Didn't she? She ended up taking that away.
They took something away. Yeah, they removed some things.
And it stirred some controversy. Okay.
Yeah. She appeared to help decrease the stigma around disordered eating and make it more acceptable to seek treatment. That's good.
So there's good things.
Yeah, eating disorders have risen since the pandemic, and they talk about that particularly among her audience, teens and young adults. And so I wanted to touch on that. And then risk, they talk about the risk that fans might try to emulate her exercise and restrictive eating habits despite her disavowal of them. Right.
Well, I'm trying to make sure I'm following you because you're jumping pretty quick from thing to thing. They're worried because she's maybe talked about some of her...
She said one thing, and then she lives this life.
Well, can we dive into that one, or is that out of order?
Go ahead. Yeah,
I'm just curious to hear. So she has maybe discussed how she has maybe some diets or lifestyle stuff, but then she's disavowed them. Can you break that down a little bit for us?
Yeah, I'll just read what it says here. Tips on how she lost weight and ways that she now maintains what most would consider an enviable physique.
Okay.
And it said there is a risk that fans might try to emulate her routine.
So she talks a little bit about her routine to maintain her physique.
Yeah. Swift shared her clothing size at her current weight and at her thinnest. And we can dive into as much as we want.
I'm just trying to understand kind of this point a little more. I want you to flesh it out for us a little bit more.
Well, celebrities, from reading this and other things like this, celebrities will want to not put any pressure on anybody. Hey, love yourself. It's fine. You're great. And then they're living this lifestyle where they don't eat dessert.
Heavy restriction.
They don't eat this. Some of them smoke cigarettes to maintain a healthy weight.
Ozempic.
Or use Ozempic. You're like, hey, it doesn't matter. You're good the way you are. But brother, I'm going to do whatever the heck it takes to weigh 97 pounds. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing it says.
That's your takeaway from that portion of the article.
That's my takeaway from it. She can do... So I would say let's go back to the beginning.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Let's just kind of chat about it and how we look at it.
Let's flesh this article out.
I remember a lady came to me years ago. She had her 6-year-old son with her. She said, my son's a little overweight. His dad pointed it out and said, why is he overweight? Because they were separated or divorced and bothered her, so she's feeling responsible. And then she comes to me and says, can you help my son lose weight? And it reminds me of this. It's like, who are you looking to? You want Taylor Swift to help your child get a good idea of how to do weight? And I told her, I said, no, I can't help your 6-year-old child lose weight. But I tell you what I can do. I can help you, adult lady, figure it out so that you can teach your child.
Was she heavy?
She wanted to lose probably 15 pounds.
Okay. So not...
So she was close, but most adults don't have some do, but most don't have a good grasp on how to eat, why to eat, and how to teach my children how to do it. And if it's fair to say, especially among divorced parents, because you're in a tough spot. You don't want to be the one denying your child something. And so now, I've seen it. It becomes more difficult. Don't mean to get off on that. So here we are. Who's going to teach your kids? So I taught this lady how to relate to food in a healthy manner. And I think what we're seeing here is, okay, kids, go to Taylor Swift to find out how you should dress, how thin you should be, how you should eat. And I just think it's worth talking about, where should you get your information from? Because I would not. I'm all for Taylor taking responsibility, doing the right thing, not trying to shame anybody. I'm all for that. But I'm not all for, let's tell our kids to get your information from Taylor Swift. The study examined conflicting reactions from fans that depicted the word fat. She disclosed her own struggles, which I think is probably fine. I think it can be helpful if we're vulnerable and we share our struggles with people. Okay, so...
And I think that was in the Miss Americana documentary. She maybe dives into that a little bit, how intense she was. And if I remember, it's been years since I saw it, but how she's been able to just kind of relax.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe share some eating.
So we hear
struggles.
that she's relaxed. I mean, I remember Kelly Clarkson going through that. Suddenly she's thinner than ever, but she was basically bad-mouthing anything with the word diet, not loving your body as it is, and now she's... I just saw her the other day. I hardly recognized her. And
up or down?
She's thin.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Kelly, yeah.
Millie. American Idol. It says here, people would have really vulnerable, honest reflections on how her work or her disclosure had helped them through disordered eating of their own, the researchers said. So her being vulnerable, they said, was really helpful. Hey, point from that is be real with people. It helps people feel like they're not alone. I think that's great. Again, where are you getting it from? But I think that was a positive from it.
Good. Good job, Tay.
Swift also appeared to help decrease the stigma around disordered eating and make it more acceptable to seek treatment. Great. The last thing I want to say about the article that I think is interesting, and we touched on a little bit, is this part where it says there is a risk that fans might try to emulate her exercise and restrictive eating habits despite her disavowal of them. It doesn't say she doesn't do them. She's just...
Okay, why do you feel like all the celebrities have to disavow their methods?
Right.
Their health methods?
Well, I think it's because they've been told you're going to cause this person to have an eating disorder because they're going to try to do what you're doing. And if they don't have success, they're going to feel terrible about themselves. So don't tell them what you do. Don't tell them they ought to do it. And so there you go. They're like, just love your body. So it's really this double message, I think.
Yeah, that's very fascinating to watch, and I feel like that's all too common.
Yeah, so my take on it is this. Celebrities don't want to get bad publicity, so they're not going to say anything like, you should do this, you should try this. It gets them in trouble now, even though they're going to do it. And they're doing these things to maintain the body that they want. And I think what our culture is saying is, don't require yourself to do anything. Just love yourself the way you are. Don't have restrictions. Don't have a plan. Don't commit to anything, because then if you fail, it's a bunch of woke. A woke way of looking at life and doing life is everything's fine. The worst thing in the world is for you to have something that makes you feel bad, or step on the scale and see a weight that triggers you, and suddenly you're going to have an eating disorder. If that's how fragile you are, okay, we have greater problems. And I understand a lot of people are that fragile, and you need to get help for that rather than embracing that. So we say, don't get on the scale, it might trigger you. Okay, I agree, it might trigger you, which is a problem that would trigger you. So my suggestion is get help for that. Don't criticize anybody that would say stand on a scale. The problem is you can't get on a scale without being triggered.
So the reality is Taylor Swift, very likely...
She would say, don't weigh yourself.
Well, very likely getting on a scale is part of her health routine.
I bet it is.
As a performer that wants to...
She wants to maintain a look.
But I can't imagine her coming out with a statement saying, hey guys, I've been getting on a scale in the morning and in the evening.
Right.
And I would encourage you to, because it's worked for me.
And if she doesn't get on a scale, do you think she just ignores her physique?
No.
She'll have other ways of making sure she's measuring or doing whatever she's going to do.
That's just one.
Because it's important to her. If something's important to you, you probably need to give it attention. And for a lot of people, you ought to give your weight some attention. Now, what does that look like? What's a healthy way of doing it? I wouldn't ask Taylor Swift. So you're going to have to decide, what's the best way for me to do this? And we can talk about that in another episode, but I would say it's not going to be from celebrities that you want to get that information.
Who should you get the information of? Oh man, like I feel like my weight and my health is kind of gone off the rails. Who do you get that information from?
Not Taylor Swift. Taylor Joe. Trainer Joe. You know. What do you want me to say here? What are you looking for? Because I think that is a whole new topic. Because I remember a book years ago, it was titled, How Shall We Then Live? How do you live? Where are you going to go to find out how to live? Where do you go to find out
Christian
how to live?
book.
It was a Christian book.
Don't you put your religion on us.
Right. So don't go there if it's Christian. Look at all these Christians.
I'm kidding, you guys. I'm Christian too and proud of it.
Yeah.
But go on.
So a lot of people would criticize doing it that way. Well, you show me the way you're learning how to live and doing life, and how's that working for you? And I would say that's something you need to look at, because if you look at these celebrities, if you really want what they're experiencing, it's not all glamour and glory. It's ugly and gory.
Ooh. All right, guys, I know that this episode was a little jumping around covering this this article, but hopefully you guys got some good stuff out of it.
Maybe we should end with a Taylor Swift song.
Let's end with
White Horse.
We don't want to sing it too long or
White
get
Horse.
written up and demonetized.
He used to be my boyfriend.
That is a good Taylor Swift song right there. That wasn't Taylor Swift, was it?
No, I made that one up.
Yeah, okay. He used to be my boyfriend. I got you. Guys, comment below. Did anything that was said in this video or even in this article that we kind of loosely pulled from?
Man, you're a hard one to please. You're hard to please.
I'm tough, dude. Yeah, but no, comment below. Let us know what stood out to you guys. Did Taylor Swift, did she hold her own there?
Is she
doing more?
Is she the standard for health and weight loss?
Because at the end
is
of the
that
day,
where we should go?
At the end of the day, though, the article did give a pretty thumbs up.
Yeah, they
Based
think
on
she's
the-
trying.
based
They think
on-
she's trying.
Based off the TikTok study.
She's trying not to create eating disorders.
Yes. Let us know your thoughts, guys. Per usual, we'll be back very soon. Trainer Joe, train your brain.
And transform your body.